Good morning, everybody. Y'all hear me all right? Good, good. It is wonderful seeing so many family members and friends here to celebrate my sister's homegoing. Thank you for being here. These are my uncles and my cousins singing. Lee family singers. They're doing their thing. It got me feeling like I want to try to sing a little something. Let me see if I can hit a lick. There is a leak in this old building, and my soul has got to move. My soul has got to move. My soul has got to move. There is a leak in this old building, and my soul has got to move. My soul has got to move. My soul has got to move. Y'all better cut this before they try to give us a contract up in here. Has got to move. All right. Look, the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. I knew this day would come at some point. None of us come here to stay. Grandma used to say that. But we all have to be prepared. We don't know when it's coming. Don't know how it's coming. But it's coming. Woo! We here. Let me get some glasses. When I was a younger man, I would have had a piece of paper and tried to read it. It looked good and cool. But as a wiser man, I choose vision over vanity. So we're going to put on some glasses, and then we can see everything. Got something special. I started writing when my dad and I went and took Shauna to the hospital, and they gave her 6 months to live. He called me, said, "Son, I need your help." I was out of town at a board meeting, and I said, "Well, I'll be there Sunday." Had another family member, a person who was like my dad's sister, my great aunt, my dad's aunt. She had her service on last Saturday on Ella. And my dad called me that morning on the way to her funeral to tell me that Shauna had passed. So I didn't need to come on Sunday, except we needed to plan a funeral. I said, "I understand." And a peace came over me. I wasn't sad. I thought that was unusual. But then I realized that Aunt Ella and Aunt Shauna were on a journey together, and they were going to be all right. That gave me comfort. I stayed up after we started planning things, stayed up late one night, and remarks came to me like a breeze. So I want to share what I came up with. It won't take too long. But I thought about Shauna and what it's like to live with a saint. Have you ever thought about it? I only know for sure, of one person, one being, one entity in this room who has never sinned, not even once. Shauna Benyel Fulton has a perfect heavenly score. She never cursed anyone, spoke ill of anyone, or mistreated anyone. She never did anything bad to anyone that I'm aware of. She may have bit Mom on accident while feeding as a baby, but God forgives babies. And even if she did bite someone like Uncle Mate, Tony Lee, Uncle Mac, Aunt Mildred. They probably needed biting. God will give her a little grace on any of those unlikely missteps. By all accounts, she is our little saint. She has a perfect heavenly score with God. And you know, God puts no more on us than we can bear. Allowing us to live in the presence of a saint shows favor for our family. We were built to be good help for God here on earth before it's our time to go to glory. I want to thank everyone who spent time with Shauna. We appreciate all who showed up for her. You know who you are. Saints are catalysts for blessings, and the blessings our family received because Shauna lived are plentiful. She helped my parents to live longer than most of their peers. She helped me and others close to her to be better, kinder, gentler people. She reminded this family to be humble and to care for one another. Her example also demands that we do better. We must love each other more to remain worthy. We must forgive each other for not quite living up to sainthood. We must be big enough to forgive and move forward. We must get our heavenly numbers up and keep them up. Accordingly, if I have wronged you, forgive me. And if you have wronged me, I forgive you. That is the least we can do in the presence of a saint. Let me tell you more about our little saint. With hearts full of love and sorrow, we honor the extraordinary life of Shauna Fulton, a daughter, a sister, a teacher, and a soul as pure and as bright as any the world has ever known. In a life that many would have called limited, Shauna lived boundlessly. In a world so often hardened by pain, she remained untouched by it. In a time when few can claim a sinless path, Shauna never strayed. She lived as a saint among us, and now we are certain she walks in the light of heaven. Shauna was born into a world that tried to define her by her limitations. Diagnosed with Rett syndrome at 12 years old, her life expectancy was short. The doctor said she might live only into her 20s if she was lucky. But Shauna, full of God's quiet defiance and strength, lived to be 51. More than double what was expected. More than double. That's not luck. That's God. And those years weren't simply that she survived. They were filled with meaning and grace and love. Thanks especially to our parents, Benny and Flora Fulton, right here in the front row. They dedicated so much of their lives to seeing her journey through. Think about it. Mom and Dad never put her in a home, never gave up on her. She had one bed sore in 51 years, unheard of. Shauna lived 30 years beyond almost every Rett syndrome patient ever. It is a testament to their love and support. Thank you, Mom and Dad, and all of Shauna's caregivers. That is genuine, old-fashioned love. As I said earlier, Shauna never spoke a word, but she taught us everything we needed to know. She taught us patience, not by demanding it, but inviting it. She taught us empathy, not by preaching, but by being. She asked for nothing and gave everything: her smile, her presence, her stillness, her peace. If the measure of a life is how deeply it shapes those around it, then Shauna lived one of the greatest lives of all. In the silence of her body, God spoke volumes. In her stillness, God moved hearts. And in her presence, we witnessed something rare: holiness. She never sinned, not because she lacked capacity, but because she lacked ego, envy, malice, pride. The things that burden most of us never touched her. She was innocent, not in a fragile sense, but in the sacred sense. And because of that, we believe without hesitation that she is in heaven right now, embraced by the very angels whose grace she mirrored here on earth. To love Shauna was to love someone who loved without condition. To care for her was to realize that we are the ones being cared for. She drew out the best in us, our compassion, our gentleness, our selflessness. She made us better. She made us whole. She made us holy. Shauna's life was not easy, but it was radiant. She bore the weight of her body with grace. She faced every day, not with complaint, but with courage. And even though she could not speak, her eyes told stories of gratitude, of wonder, and of peace. That peace, her peace, is her final gift to us. Also, bringing us together is a gift, a final miracle, because you know some of us can be special. But today, our grandparents are smiling. Our ancestors are smiling. God is smiling. So we do not say goodbye with despair. We say thank you with reverence. Thank you, Saint Shauna, for showing us how to love, how to endure, and how to live without sin. Thank you for teaching us what it means to be close to God. Thank you for reminding us to get our heavenly numbers up. He's called his saint home now, and heaven is brighter because she is there. We love you, little sister. Finally, just one more thing before I sit down. Shauna, you will remember this as you were the first to hear it when I was 16. Later, I would have a college friend to draw your likeness to be framed in a picture where we superimposed the words that will become my first published children's book. We released it on your birthday. The late, great Nikki Giovanni would co-sign the book by adding the only cover quote on the back. Anyone who observed knew you were special. Today, I know just how special you are. Still blessing us. Still blessing us. I recite now for you, Shauna. A gazing little boy stopped and asked, "Can you run?" "Yes," adjusting her leg brace. "Can you dance?" "Yes," adjusting her position in her wheelchair. "Are you happy?" "Yes," adjusting her gaze towards heaven. Big brother, now that you are a man, in your newfound wisdom, don't count me out. I run in my mind. I'm an Olympian. I dance in my dreams. I'm a debutante. And I am happy because I am loved. Thank you.